All right, you guys, one more thing on cravings for you. So when we're having a craving or an urge to eat in general, it's really easy to just impulsively act on that urge and have that urge like rule your brain, right? You have this craving for something salty and all you can think about is that, and you just run to the pantry and you open the doors and you're rummaging and all you can think about is this craving, and it's controlling you, right? You're not controlling it, and you're very wrapped up in this impulse. So I want to talk to you guys today about how to basically control these impulses. I don't like to use the word control because I just don't think food is something we need to have that vocabulary around, like control and restrict. But I would, let's say, manage these impulses when you feel them. In my previous video, I talked about how cravings are a sign that your body is telling you something and that you need to understand how to balance your nutrition so that you're not having them as badly and not feeling them as much. But sometimes we still have these urges, and we need to know how to manage them in a healthy way without binge eating. Okay, I struggled with binge eating, bulimia for many, many years, and I definitely understand this struggle. Obviously, I'm not an eating disorder therapist, and if you're struggling with that, I highly, highly suggest you work with one because it's really, really helpful for that. For me, I'm a personal trainer and I'm a nutritionist, and the women who work with me often struggle with binge eating as well as emotional eating and stress eating and other forms of maybe not a full-blown eating disorder, but disordered eating patterns, right? Let's say that. So anyway, when we feel these urges, the first thing I want you to do is remove yourself from being in the urge to outside the urge and like observing the urge, okay? So what I like to do is I like to say, hey, D is having an urge to eat right now, or D is having an urge to binge eat chocolate right now. And I kind of step out of it and I see myself in the third person. So I'm saying like, okay, this urge, it's not me. It's separate from me. It's this urge I'm noticing in my body, but it's not like I'm not in it. I remove myself from being deep in it and I separate it from me and I'm like, hey, that's over there. That's interesting. Like that's happening. And I can point it out. Okay. So this is like mindfulness. If you've ever done mindfulness meditation, Vipassana meditation, it's all about like looking at your thoughts and observing them neutrally. So I look at this urge neutrally, right? The trick is to look at this without judgment. Just look at it without judgment. Don't be like, oh my God, I'm having an urge, I'm bad, I'm ashamed of myself, right? Don't do that. Just look at it and be like, hey, I'm having an urge to eat. That's really interesting. I'm curious. Let me explore that more. What is this telling me, right? If you watch a cravings video, or get the cravings guide in my bio, I go over like, what's your body trying to tell you in these situations, right? Do I need to change my nutrition? What's going on? Am I really stressed out? Do I need to do something to manage my stress? Like observe it neutrally, have some curiosity around it, and see it as like separate from you. When you see it as separate from you and you like compartmentalize your urges, you don't have to be in them and you're not so caught up in them. You can see them and distance yourself, and then you can choose, okay, what do I actually want to do now? Okay, I feel this urge, that's kind of interesting. Like I wonder if this chocolate's actually going to help me, or if the real issue is stress, is this chocolate going to help me be less stressed, or is it just going to make me feel worse about myself? Or, you know, what do I really need right now? Okay, ask that question. What do I really need right now? And is it this food? Sometimes it might be the food, right? Sometimes chocolate will make you feel better. That is totally fine, right? I think emotional eating has this bad rap in our society. But in reality, like, emotional eating is a normal part of being a human, right? If you look at any social situation that involves emotions, like birthdays or weddings, right? It all comes with food, and our emotions are very closely tied to food. Emotional eating is only a problem when it's your only way to cope with negative emotions, which for many of us, it is, right? For years, that was the only way I coped with emotions and with like restriction, which is a whole nother issue. But if that's your only way that you're coping with emotions, then yeah, we need to talk about different ways to cope with emotions, different outlets you can have. But for now, it's not always bad. And sometimes, yeah, you can rationally say, you know what, a piece of chocolate is just really going to make me feel good right now, right? But sometimes it's not. And we need to be very mindful of those scenarios. And like, what else can you have on hand? Maybe like a cup of tea, or just going to walk around your block, something like that, to just reduce the urge, and to give yourself what you really need, which is that space of de-stressing, instead of like acting immediately on those impulses. And honestly, like, this is going to get so much easier with practice. So what I suggest for you guys is practice doing this when you're not stressed. Like when you're not in the middle of an impulse, when you're not emotional. Do this like for your normal meals. Like when you get hungry at lunchtime, observe that urge. Okay, D is having an urge to eat lunch right now. D is really hungry right now. Like, I know that, maybe a sandwich today is really going to make me feel good. So practice this, like observing your hunger, getting in tune with your body. Practice it when you're not stressed, so that when you are stressed, it's more of like your default and you can kind of return to that. Make sense? Leave a comment if this was helpful, and make sure to grab that free guide in my bio about how to crush your cravings. Now, crush your cravings. That was the old name before I realized that was not in alignment with what I wanted to promote. It's just called Cravings Cheat Sheet. It's just the Cravings Cheat Sheet. All right, go grab it, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.